Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Action Figure Showcase, I have part 1 of my Ruthless Aggression collection. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. As I said, I'm going over my Ruthless Aggression collection, and that is probably the largest portion outside of like the current modern wrestlers. Obviously, the Ruthless Aggression, if we're getting those in the Mattel line, they're flashbacks. So I don't have as many as I do the current roster, but I love the Ruthless Aggression era. That is probably the most customs I've made. I've made a lot of customs from the Attitude era as well. That's what I grew up with. A lot of those wrestlers are very nostalgic to me, but I think my wrestling love kind of peaked during the Ruthless Aggression era because it still had like all the guys I liked from the Attitude era, but then we got new guys. We got John Cena, we got Brock Lesnar, Batista, all the guys from OVW, Randy Orton. I mean, you name it, the list goes on. But I wanted to start going through my Ruthless Aggression collection, and I'm still gonna go through like specific stables every now and then. Just single wrestlers, like all of their figures I have in my collection. But today we're going over to the Ruthless Aggression collection that I have. So starting out with part 1, I've got a couple Rey Mysterio figures here, and one of these is a custom that I just haven't gotten around to finishing. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I have put a lot of like paint work into it with this green custom, painted up the mask and everything, and I'm happy with it. I just need to finish the like side decals. And I made this before we had the Ruthless Aggression figure that we just got here, this white one. I really like the white one. It's from I think it's the second Ruthless Aggression wave, which it has been. I was really excited for that line, but distribution has been awful. I have only seen the first wave and second wave. I saw the second wave in stores in like the Walmart shipper that we got, but other than that, I've seen nothing. I saw the box for the third wave, and I think the third wave is the Cena, Shelton Benjamin, and Kevin Nash. I saw an empty box at one of my like 5 or 6 Walmarts, and that was it. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the Elite 100 shipper at Target either. I know that's not the Ruthless Aggression stuff, but my stores have just been really spotty with distribution these last few months, so I haven't gotten any more of those Ruthless Aggression figures. Hopefully something's fixed and like a bunch of them just drop. I don't know. But anyway, I really like this Rey Mysterio. I love the white elbow pads, gloves, everything. I think it looks really clean, and this is probably my favorite representation of like that of Ruthless Aggression Rey. Like I know we got that Royal Rumble one in the red, like we got some others, but this is like his debut SmackDown 6 kind of look, and I love that time in the Ruthless Aggression. Next up from that same wave, we've got the RVD figure, and admittedly, this is not one of my favorite RVDs that I have or that we've gotten. I have some customs of RVD. I have the Elite 98 with the tiger stripes, which I think you also could put into this Ruthless Aggression collection if you wanted to. He wore that numerous times in his career with like some subtle changes. We got the Elite, the like updated Elite of his when he was in WWE, when his like last run he had with the company. What other official? We're getting the Ultimate Edition RVD, which obviously I'm very excited for, but at the same time I'm hesitant to get too excited because I don't know what distribution will look like. But this is from that same wave with the Rey Mysterio, so I was gonna pick it up because one, I knew how hard it was to find these Ruthless Aggression figures, so I picked it up. But then it's RVD. I'm always gonna pick up RVD. The Eddie Guerrero, however, is a custom, so this is the legs from a Legends figure. I had one that kind of got beat up. I got it in a lot, so I used those legs, and it's not entirely accurate. I don't know if he had the green like highlights on his attire then, but I took some Alberto Del Rio boots, and I haven't acetoned off the AR on those, but those are more accurate to the time. So then I also gave him an upgraded Oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't give him. I think these are the correct arms and torso. I think this is the right torso. Maybe I gave him an arm swap. But then the head is from one of his other figures from the Hall of Champions figure. Hall of Fame. I can't remember. One of the Target lines. And then I did a dry brush over it with blonde because for a time he did have like the blonde highlights, and I don't think we've gotten any Eddie Guerrero figures that have those blonde highlights, but a lot of times he did. So did that dry brush over them so I could have an Eddie from, again, that early Ruthless Aggression, which all the figures today are really from like the very start of Ruthless Aggression. And it might be before they even like talked about that actual name, before Vince did his Ruthless Aggression promo. But Eddie and RVD had some awesome matches. They had a ladder match on Raw. That is always one that sticks out in my mind. Like, I loved it. Eddie or RVD and Jeff Hardy, like, they did some fights, some battles for the Intercontinental title, for the European title, and in the start of the Ruthless Aggression era, those are always matches that really stuck with me. Next up are Undisputed Rock and WrestleMania 19 Triple H. So this Triple H figure was from the Decade of Domination series, I think, the Walmart exclusive series. I did swap boots and put on some all purple boots, and he came with black boots. That's what he wore at WrestleMania 19, I'm pretty sure. But I just thought it'd look cooler with the purple, and I'm pretty sure at some point he wore purple boots with these. He also had like a blue attire that he wore. He had his red tights, which I just think is a weird time. I like having the different action figures, different colors with Triple H, but it's just weird to think of Triple H wearing anything besides his like normal black. So I have this Triple H, just did the boot swap, and then this Rock figure is one of his various figures. They're all pretty much the same. We get different heads, get different torsos every now and then, but this one, what I did was take some decals, some real easy decals, painted black over, and then I put on the red decals from when he won the Undisputed Championship. He very briefly was Undisputed Champion. He won it, and I think it was a triple threat match. I think it was Kurt Angle and Undertaker that he beat for the Undisputed title. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. But then I don't think he held it very long before he ended up dropping the belt to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam on his way out to Hollywood. So very brief time, very brief period. I don't know if we're gonna get like a version like this. The Elite 100, I think. Elite 100 has the red tights, so you could just swap ahead on there, do the same thing, but I really wanted the Undisputed Champion version of Rock in my collection. Next up, we have Booker T and Goldust. And these guys were an odd couple tag team for a while in the Ruthless Aggression era. And this Goldust, I don't remember exactly like what his suit was looking like. One thing with the Goldust figure is that I wish they didn't use that like t-shirt mold. It's a little too skinny. Like, he was a thick dude. He was a big dude. I also think they make him too short. It's like his AEW figures are big, but are too big, but I still think he's like a large guy. I don't know if it gets quite captured with Mattel's figures. Nonetheless, I think it looks good with this Booker T. This is one of the Walmart, I don't know if it was Walmart exclusive. It was in the WrestleMania wave, which I feel like I only saw at Walmart, but I could be wrong. This is his WrestleMania 19 attire as well. I like to forget about that. That was a painful moment for me in my wrestling viewing. I was really upset that he did not beat Triple H for the World Heavyweight title. Nonetheless, I like this figure. One of the few Booker T's I have that I didn't convert to an Ultimate, but these guys cracked me up during the Ruthless Aggression era. They were really funny. I always liked Booker T, but I didn't quite realize how funny he was until he and Goldust were paired together. Then same with Goldust. I knew who Goldust was. I liked him as a character because I thought he looked cool. And then during the Attitude Era, he was doing his artist formerly known as gimmick, which was kind of weird. So as a kid, I was like, no, whatever. He was with Luna Vachon, and she scared me as a kid. So I wasn't a huge fan, but then he came back, Ruthless Aggression era, those early mid 2000s, and I just thought he was hysterical. So glad I can put both of these guys in. Next is the Hurricane and Mighty Molly. And Mighty Molly wasn't white ruthless aggression. She was more that like invasion, like end of the invasion, like that transition. So I feel like with my collection, especially when I try to kind of put them in chronological order. So there's always like a transition period where you've got like the Attitude Era, and then in the middle there we've got the Invasion, where they merge and people are kind of figuring things out. This Hurricane and Mighty Molly are kind of in that transition phase. So this is a custom. I had a Jax figure just like this. He had the ponytail, he had the painted mask on because he did not have the nice mask that he like actual mask that he wore, but it had this green top, it had the black tights, and then it had white boots. So this is a custom. I sculpted this hair, and then Mighty Molly is a figure I did not expect to get like ever. I really didn't know if we were going to get a Molly Holly. I've loved the Legends line, and the fact that we got this and a chase of when she first came to WWE I think is awesome. But they look fantastic together. This cape is from the original Jax Hurricane. It was one of my favorite figures. I remember it felt good in hand, like playing with it. It posed well, it was durable, and it was just one of my favorite Jax figures. So again, being able to add that to my collection now as an adult collector is something really cool for me. Here we are with my second favorite wrestler of all time. Shawn Michaels is my number one favorite. Jeff Hardy is easily number two. And then after that, it's debatable, but I was always a huge Jeff Hardy fan. He just kind of like floated around, had some weird direction after him and Matt Hardy split in the Ruthless Aggression era. And I liked the look. Easily his most iconic moment as, at least during maybe not of his entire career, but at that point, his match that he had with Undertaker for the Undisputed Championship was awesome. And I, like, as a kid, I wanted him to win so bad. I was really upset. And then obviously, everyone knows the struggles that Jeff has had. So he's been hit or miss, whether or not he's like getting a push, getting belts. So Ruthless Aggression was a weird time for him. He like went to TNA, came back, did some stuff. Never did anything like too crazy. He won the Intercontinental belt, won the tag belts, but right here I have obviously my custom from the Undisputed Championship match. We've got the Elite 75, which I hate that head scan, but it was the first Ruthless Aggression Jeff we'd gotten, so I picked it up. And then the Ultimate, which I really like the Ultimate. I know some people were kind of scratching their head and were like, why the heck are we getting this? But I was pumped. I like this head scan a lot more. I have a bunch of these because I bought a bunch of customs, so I'll probably end up repainting and popping that onto Elite 75. I did paint, if you can kind of tell, I painted the back of the Elite 75's hair a little bit to make it look a little better. Hair looks fine. I don't like the head scan as much touching up as I can do. I just don't see the likeness. I've even seen people repaint it, and I still don't like it. So I'm glad that I've got my custom, glad that I've got the Ultimate, glad that I've got Jeff Hardy. And then to round things out, Stone Cold. And when I think Ruthless Aggression, when I think Stone Cold, I think of him as his like buddy cop with Eric Bischoff on Raw, where they were like both general managers. Obviously he had his match at WrestleMania 17, but this is what I think of when I think of Stone Cold. And he was a special guest referee when Goldberg and Brock Lesnar fought at WrestleMania 20. And after that, he just kind of like slowly disappeared, slowly moved away from WWE. He was done at that time, but this is one. And I mean, all Stone Cold figures we get are pretty close to the same. We haven't gotten a lot of different street attires. We are getting the Ruthless Aggression one of him in the like long pants, which I'm excited for. But this one, I wanted him in his F Fear shirt I got from Threadhead. And then I swapped the head from one of his Defining Moments figures, or not Defining Moments, Ultimate Edition figures. Swap that on here, and it's other than that, it's just your normal Stone Cold in jeans. But that is going to wrap things up for today. This is just part one of the Ruthless Aggression collection. I honestly might have like 10 parts. I have a huge collection of guys from that era, and mostly custom, so I'm really excited about this. I'm also going to do the same with the Golden Era, the New Generation, Attitude. I mean, you name it. I want to get through my entire collection. It's going to take a long time, but undoubtedly something that I'm looking forward to. So please continue to like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate that. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.